Greetings, Commander. In this video, we are talking about the top 5 scariest characters in all of Marvel Strike Force when in the hands of the enemy AI, but when you're using them on one of your teams going against the AI, well, they're just not as threatening. So you may want to temper your expectations if you have not built these characters. So if you want to see who is on this top 5 list as chosen by you on the live stream in chat this morning, guys, you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, what is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. In this video, we are talking about the top 5 characters in Marvel Strike Force that are so threatening, so beefy on the enemy team. And when they're on your team, they're just not that great. Some of them just a little drop. Some of them just plain suck. So we're going to talk about them. And these are various reasons why these characters are so scary. Some because you can't hit them because they're dodging so much. Some, they do way more damage when the enemy is using them than when they're in your team. And others, they're just very, very tricky. So we're going to talk about all of them. Plus, we got a lot of honorable mentions to talk about. And this list was chosen this morning on the live stream by chat. So let's get into it. Boom. First character I want to talk about is this guy, Vision. And if you're talking about dodging, annoying dodging characters, Vision is probably at the top of the list. And the reason that there's a drop off when you're using him, he normally does not dodge as much as the AI enemy Vision will dodge, and makes it so annoying when you're using one of your big moves. You're like, oh yeah, I gotta target this character, but when it's a Vision on the field, you're wondering, should I save him for last because he could dodge all of my attacks? Maybe I get some of my good attacks on other characters that I know are not going to dodge your attack, even though Vision remaining on the field can cause some problems for your team. Now, one of the big problems that he presents when he's on the enemy team, and this also applies when he's on your team though, is that defense up that he applies to himself and all his tech ally characters. And this can create some problems when you're facing an enemy Vision, when you're trying to target some of these other characters when they're starting with defense up. So Vision does a lot. And let's talk about his damage, because when I'm using my Vision, I don't get a lot of damage. And granted, he's only 67k, so not very beefy, not as beefy as the AI's Visions, but targeting all enemies, 220% damage at level 6. At level 7 with that T4 goes up to 250% damage. So shouldn't seem like a lot of damage, but man, this is one AoE big damage that sometimes can wipe out some key members of my team. Plus, not only the damage, it's also clearing 2 positive effects. He has a strong move on with the dive bomb. Normally the AI is not going to use this on the opening turn, but it still has an ability block, and it can create some problems for your team. And he has a nice basic as well. So Vision is in this list. No particular order, guys. This is just the order that I have these guys as far as collection power. But other than that, no particular order. Let's move on to the next character, and it is this guy, Ronin. One of the worst characters in the game for a while, was a meme for a while. Pretty good character once he got his rework, but he's just a good character in your team. And the reason that Ronin was chosen for this list is particular because of that boss node in Ultimate 7. Very strong Ronin. There's a strong Ronin there at the end, and when you talk about damage, this is a big damage move, and on paper does not seem like it should be a lot. 230% damage at level 6, at level 7 goes up to 290% damage, and this should not seem like a crazy amount of damage, but this is a move that has wiped out my entire team in one shot. Now, if it doesn't wipe out your entire team, he's also applying ability block to the primary target for 2 turns, applying ability block to 2 additional enemies, so this could create some havoc. Ability block is a move that could really screw up your team, especially if it's on the character that you have been timing, waiting for that ability to come, and then boom, ability blocks, and it just throws everything off. So Ronin could really throw everything off. Also this move right here, especially when you're working with the symbiotes, you got a couple good things, couple bad things. He's summoning some Kree allies, which for a team like the symbiotes in Ultimate 7.5 is a very good thing, because you could drop these enemies below 25% health, get some speed bar from that. But what he's also doing, which is not good for the symbiotes, clearing 2 negative effects from all allies, and this is a very annoying move. So Ronin, especially with this damage, especially at higher levels, provides some big threatening and threats to your team, and can be very scary. So let's move on. Let me know your thoughts on Ronin. How scary is he when you see him on the enemy team? Next one I want to talk about is this guy, Miles Morales, the Miles version of Spider-Man. And one of the big things about Miles is that he goes into stealth a lot. And when he's into stealth, you can't hit him and you can't address some of the threats that he can provide to your team. So let's talk about this move right here. This is another damaging move, big damage move that I don't see with my character. And again, he's not built up as much, but when I'm facing characters around the same power level as him, it's just not through the damage that the AI enemy does. And maybe it's a perception, but attacking all enemies, 230% damage at level 6, goes up to 260% damage at level 7 with that T4 in there. Applying Disrupted, the primary target for 2 turns, and Disrupted to an additional target. And this could be a big annoyance on your team, especially if you're using a team that relies on the buffs of your team, sort of like an Ultron or some other characters that you need a lot of buffs on this team. The buffs really matter. When you get Disrupted, this could throw everything off, especially if it's coming with a lot of damage that you're not really expecting from a character like Miles. This is also another big damaging move. 260% damage at level 6, goes up to 300% damage at level 7 with that T4. Getting slow for 2 turns with that T4 in it, but still getting that slow and reducing the speed bar. This is the big one right here. Reducing the speed bar by 50%, and this could throw off a lot of your turn orders in planning your moves out in the match. So this could really throw things off. And Miles, very annoying. Let me know your thoughts on Miles when you see him, man. Yeah, again, my Miles is not built up very much because he's not as good in my hands as he is in the AI's hands. Next, and you knew he was gonna make the list when we're talking about dodges, and this is Mr. Dodge. Him and Vision are dodging so much. You knew these guys were gonna be on the list, and Peter Parker Spider-Man seems to dodge a lot. One of the reasons is he's fallen off so hard. He doesn't really have a home right now. No real home on the Sinister Six team. No real home on the Spider-Verse team. So rumors are that he's having a team coming up soon. A Gothic team was what was mentioned in chat yesterday, and was mentioned by Drew on the mailbag video yesterday. So maybe he's getting reworked. Maybe he's getting love, and maybe he will be a good asset in your hands when he gets that, if he gets the team. But as it stands now, my Spider-Man just does nothing. But when I see an enemy Spider-Man, oh my goodness, it's kind of like that Vision scenario where I don't know if I should hit him and get him off the field, because he can really start to threaten your team with things like defense down from his special. He has a stun and a slow on his ultimate right here. And Peter Parker Spider-Man just dodges a lot. And let's look at the passive right here. 25% dodge chance when you put that T4 in there, but it seems like it's way over 50% when it's in the AI's hands. So thoughts on Spider-Man? A lot of it is from the dodge, but he does have some value with the defense down. He has some value with his ultimate right here in his stun. So not a bad character in the game, just does not have a team right now, but way tougher in the enemy AI's hands. And last but not least on this list is this guy right here, Green Goblin. And this character can be so annoying when you're facing him, especially if you're using a team that needs a lot of buffs on that team to run properly. And Ultron is an example that I just mentioned, and I'm going to mention him again because he needs to have those buffs on him to have his cooldowns run properly. And if you have Green Goblin on the enemy's team, well, he's removing buffs with this passive right here, Cauterize. On any Spider-Verse ally's turn, choosing 2 random enemies, and if they have a positive effect, removing 1. So it's not good, especially you have a lot of Spider-Verse enemies on the enemy team, Spider-Verse allies for Green Goblin on the enemy team, and it's going to become very tricky when you're getting buffs removed here and there. And it's Green Goblin. I don't notice this when I'm using my Green Goblin, and maybe because my Green Goblin kind of sucks right now at 47k, but very annoying when I see a Green Goblin on the enemy team. And this move is another one. Not only is he removing buffs, screwing that up, but he has a big high damage move right here. On paper, doesn't seem that crazy, but this is a move that has wiped out many characters and ruined many Ultimate 7 runs for me, many other raid ones as well. But attacking the primary target, 240% damage, goes up to 290 when you put that T4. You're attacking 3 to 4 random targets for 240% damage, and that goes up to 290 as well with that T4 in there. So some big damaging moves, and this is something that if you have a character in red being protected by someone taunting, the taunt does not matter because it's all random. So your character to be killed by this move. And he has another big damaging move with his special, attacking a random enemy with stealth and 380% damage. Excuse me. Goes up even more by 70% with that T4 in there. But if no targets have stealth, attacking the primary target instead and dealing 50% extra damage per positive effect on the target. So this is kind of a weird thing with his passive and his special. You want a lot of positive effects on the enemies with the special because you're dealing extra damage for that. But without that, with removing these positive effects, you're getting less damage. But nonetheless, this is a very big damaging move, and this is another move of Green Goblins that has wiped out my team prematurely and ruined a lot of otherwise good runs in the raid. So these are the characters that you guys chose on stream this morning: Vision, Ronin, Miles Morales version of Spider-Man, Peter Parker version of Spider-Man, and Green Goblin. Let me know your thoughts on this list, but there are some honorable mentions that I do want to talk about. The first is this guy all the way down here, this trash character, Ravager Boomer. Hopefully he gets a rework soon, but as it stands right now, not very good. But when I see him in Ultimate 7, he's got some big damage. I need to watch out for that. That is another character that has ruined a bunch of Ultimate 7 runs and a bunch of just runs in particular. Now, other characters that I want to talk about is Ant-Man and Wasp. They're a good combo, and they provide a lot of trickiness. Wasp has that dodging like Vision, like Spider-Man, and can be very annoying. She also has a stun on her in her kit. She has the AoE attack on her kit, and then Ant-Man with slows, with ability blocks, can be so damaging for your team if those get timed out right. So really want to deal with both of those characters as soon as possible. The other characters that are very annoying and very scary when you're facing them on the enemies is characters that can apply taunts to your team. Two characters come to mind: Korath, War Machine. Both of them can apply taunts on your team and can throw off the protection that you have laid out. War Machine does it with his passive anytime an enemy drops below 50% health. Korath does it with his special. And last but not least, let's talk about these reviving characters, these characters that come back to life and can be so scary if they keep coming back to life, and they don't come back to life that often when they're on my team. Elektra, Deadpool, Wolverine. Scientist Supreme does it with her revives or their passive. She doesn't revive herself, but she revives her team. 25% chance, but it seems like a lot more when the AI is using them, and a lot less when I have a Scientist Supreme on my team. And last but not least, in this revive category, Groot. So annoying. He does a lot of good things, but he can come back to life. Every time he dies, though, he's applying defense up to his whole team, and applying a lot other bonuses if you have some Guardians on the team. And guys, that is it. That is the list that was chosen by the live stream this morning. And if you have some discrepancies on it, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are there other characters that are very annoying that is on the enemy team, very scary, but kind of drop off a little bit when you're using them? Or maybe they even are very bad when you're using them on your own team, but when the AI uses them, they're very scary. So let me know your thoughts, guys, on this, and I hopefully enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash on the like button, all that normal stuff, guys. Leave a comment, share this with your friends. Every morning I stream, every weekday morning I stream on Twitch, so check me out there and check me out on social media. Before you go, give me a Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin, out!